Oh, okay guys, welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about some peaks that you pretty much can't defend. So some of the most OP peaks. So the first one I wanted to talk about was this kind of really old one that I used to use, and I stopped using it. And I'll tell you guys why in a second. Well, I actually can't show you now because it's there, but it's basically like you do this, so this kind of tile. You edit it, sit in this corner and reset it, and you float through. So it's like really simple, but yeah, I'll tell you guys in a second why I don't use it anymore. Yeah, so it's basically you just come up, box your opponents, and so they're just panicking there, and even if it's their walls, they'll still be kind of scuffed, and then you could just edit, reset, and you've just basically got a free shot on them. But yeah, so why I don't use this in game now is because let's say you're the opponent. A few years ago this used to work a lot, but now people just do this. You know, like, so they'll just like either do that or they'll just like, you know, they'll get out or something, so it doesn't really work. Or they'll just like be watching you and like pre-fire you when you edit. So anyway, so this used to work like a few years ago, and I just kind of stopped doing it. Also, if you have good internet, it works pretty well, but it's like right now my internet's not good enough, so I recommend people with good internet to do this. If your internet's kind of dodgy, you're gonna grief yourself. The next peak I wanted to show you is pretty goated. So let's say your opponent's just like boxed up like this kid, yeah? Another way you could approach it, instead of doing this, right, is you come up like this. So you make a box in front of his box. You stand like this, you know, and you're basically like full covered. So that's, I mean, because then from your opponent's point of view, you know, I mean, they could still hit you, but it's kind of like they're gonna be holding their wall and stuff, and yeah, so it's a pretty interesting peak. The next one I wanted to show was like, I've seen Veno doing this quite a bit. It was like, a lot of people were like, when they're above, like let's say your opponent's like down here, right? Like your opponent's on low ground, you're like above them. What most people do is like, they'll do this type of thing, right? Like just double edit, shoot, or you know, if they're a bit smarter, they'll edit from the on the right tiles, so you have a right hand peak. But still, you can always get shots. So what Veno was doing was more like this, you see. But obviously, you would have like, you know, other builds, so that wouldn't fall. So like that, right? Something like that, or like this. And basically, you just shoot your opponent, and he's like, from his point of view, of course they can still get a shot, but it's like they don't expect it. So most of the time, it's like, you know, and you can also you're determining when the shot happens because you're covered, and then you can just jump whenever you're ready. So you basically have the advantage over your opponents. Okay, so then the next one I wanted to show you, it's basically the same as this one here, but I can't really show you because the bot makes the floor glitch, the ramp glitch. So like, once again, let's say you've just pulled up on your opponent like this, you made a box, your opponent's boxed. So like, I'll just try and make it a bit better. Like, let's say you just happen to see your opponent, he doesn't react fast enough, you just insta-box him. What you can do is like this, and then hold your ramp so that if he tries to shoot it back, you can take it back. But just like constantly, you know, like that sort of stuff. So it's like, you box him, but you don't like make a full commitment to like being, you know, a 50-50. Because like if you miss your shot, like of course if you box him, you hit the first shot, then it's kind of like easier for you to win. But like, let's say you might be low in the situation, and you just like, you know, well, I messed up. You shoot, reset, you know. So that's kind of like, not many people do that. And so like the reason why this is not that good as well, like the disadvantage with this one here is like, your opponent, what most people would do is like hold cones. So I'm not doing it very well, but like just they would basically spam cones while shooting, or like pickaxing and then cones, you know. But then again, that's not good for them, because if they do that, you know, they kind of like have to fight, so that might not be too good for them either. Okay guys, so another peak that I literally have never seen anybody use this in game, but it's one of the most goated peaks I think I've ever seen in my whole life. It's like, let's say, oh, hold on. Let's say your opponent's like, down, like like right there, right? So your opponent's 3 floors below you, and he tries to come up. So what you could do is like this, right? You would like prepare the floor and cone to protect yourself, and like if you do this, right, and then you confirm this one, like this is one of the most goated edits I've ever seen, because nobody does. No, I've never seen anybody do it, but it's so goated. You have to do one. It's like a 2-time thing, so it takes a bit more time. But yeah, it's like. Then you have this peak here that nobody expects, and from your opponent's point of view, I mean, bro, it's like if they're like coming up fast, like to hit that, it looks easy right now because you know there's no one fighting me, but in game this is not easy to hit. So yeah, so you basically get a nice shot on your opponent. Okay guys, so another one that I think is like insane that I never see anybody, and there's 2 different levels to this one. It's like, let's say your opponent's super close to you and you're like kind of going like this, and you just, you know, you just say like, you just box up like this, right? What a lot of people don't do is this one. It's pretty much nobody use it, but you see, like you have this little gap, and you can do it the other way as well. Instead of doing this to shoot your opponent, once again your opponent's in there, right? You like, instead of doing this or this is what most people do, but look how big that it is. You can get shot from so many angles. If you do this, your opponent cannot hit you from here, and you can just sort of get angles and get in there. See, it just shoots through. And so the second level of this, if you look at this gap here, right, I'll just do it right here. If you use brick now, so instead of with wood it looks like this, right? And with brick, you see how there's less space here? So if you're like 1 HP and you don't want to risk this much space, like, you know, let's just say you know, you don't want to take the risk of having this much gap, you just do a brick one. That's something to note. Now with metal, I haven't tried it yet, so I think it's the same as wood. Yeah, you see it's pretty much. So that's something super important to note. If you guys want a small peak, it's brick. Wood and metal are kind of the same. Okay guys, so for the last thing I wanted to show you, it's this one's like super known, so you guys probably know this one. It's like, let's say your opponent's like above you or something, right? Just somewhere around here. What a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people do this one, so it's not that unknown, but it's like you do this, you edit this one, and you just place a ramp and you shoot, and your opponent really can't do much, because just look at that angle, like only your head will be exposed, right? I mean, I haven't seen too many people using some of these peaks, so I hope I showed you guys. Even if you've played the game for a long time, I hope you guys saw something that you hadn't seen before. And yeah, like I said guys, support the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.